Wow. What else can really be said? What a news day for Bitcoin and the blockchain. I was watching Fox News earlier today, and they were talking about what is a blockchain? Why is it so important to the president? Why is a blockchain so important to the president of the United States? And this massive panel that Trump held at the White House, where it was like just a huge long table of people, like a very, very large round table, more of a square table than round. And the Winklevoss twins were there. And of course, his Commerce Secretary Lutnick was there. David Sachs, his crypto and AI consultant, was there. Brian Armstrong, the founder of Coinbase, one of the early crypto exchanges, he was in attendance. Just an all-star cast of Bitcoiners. And what a home run for Trump. So he announced the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, or BSR, yesterday and did a subsequent post on the White House that we're going to link to over on Fulcrum so you can find it easily. If you just want to go to fulcrumnews.com, it should be the top post later tonight. But yeah, so what a home run. His executive order, which again he signed yesterday, was, I thought, very logical and yet bold. And it doesn't require any new funding, so Democrats can't whine, anti-crypto people can't complain. All it really does is the current held or seized Bitcoin that the feds have is now going to be part of this strategic reserve, whereas the previous policy was to auction it off, and usually they would auction it at like the most inopportune moments. Whenever Bitcoin is finally, having a leg up, is usually when the government chooses to unload a whole bunch of it via a semi-public auction. And now that era is over, and it tells the whole world this is something valuable. Why would the U.S. government be hoarding it unless it was something valuable? But yeah, just total home run policy, and it precludes other cryptos. So this is a true Bitcoin reserve. I'm so happy that he didn't make it a basket of random altcoins that may or may not exist in the future. I think there's always going to be some mining of Bitcoin itself, since it's the first crypto and the most well understood and supported and all that, supported by businesses like PayPal and Square or Block or whatever their company's called at the moment. Block and Cash App and all those companies, they work with Bitcoin. So absolutely incredible. I don't know what else to say. It's good to see Trump make some genuine home runs instead of having to be gaslit that stalemates like the Epstein files, that stalemates are home runs. No, this is a genuine home run right here. In 30 years, the textbooks will be talking about the first presidency to bring Bitcoin into the White House, literally and figuratively. In 30 years and 100 years, depending on how successful crypto is, this will still be talked about. And a total about face from the previous administration. As I've said before, they treated crypto mining like just the cut above running a meth lab and had no fluency in the subject. And were weirdly against it. Were weirdly very against it. And it cost them votes, and it cost them the support of a significant number of people. Significant number of wealthy people in Silicon Valley who turned against them in the last election cycle. Their war against crypto is a total fail. And people have pointed out that Trump came through, not only on this executive order to create a U.S. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, but he came through on freeing Ross Ulbricht, the founder of the Silk Road and one of the early Bitcoin users, or one of the early businesses that accepted Bitcoin. He freed him. You see Ross posting stuff on social media about how happy he is to be free and grateful for Trump's thought leadership there. The Democrats are going to let him rot forever. And the Democrats had 4 years to legalize weed, and they never did because they make too much money from shoving minorities into, at turbo speed, shoving minorities into for-profit prisons that Democrat senators are invested in for transgressions in the marijuana law that is now, of course, legal in most of the U.S. But if you're in the wrong state at the wrong time and you're Black or Latino, Democrats will shove you into a for-profit prison. And because crypto is outside of their little domain of corruption, they weren't used to it, it was something new, they decided, let's outlaw this. And now that we have the USAID information, all the information on this corrupt flow of payments around the world, thanks to Elon Musk and his Doge team revealing the details. Now that we know this, it's like no wonder the Democrats were against crypto. Why would they want to dismantle a system that was, benefiting them and not the other party to such a gross extent? It seems like this was a total carve out, and almost the people have said this is like low key communism. All of us are paying into a common tax base, and then a handful of corrupt elected officials on the left are redirecting the money to themselves via what are now known as pop up nonprofits. Democrats pioneered this thing over the last decade called a pop up nonprofit, where they literally just create some, high concept sounding nonprofit like Saving Children in the Southern Portion of Africa Incorporated, and they wire hundreds of millions of dollars to it, and they extract payments being on their board of advisors and stuff. Absolute theft of the taxpayer. Really sad, actually. Really sad. But of course, they would not want to dismantle that old system or support a competitor to it like Bitcoin, where every transaction is ultimately on the blockchain. That's part of why these people got away with all their corruption is the banking system allows for it. You just send the money overseas. You just send it to some nonprofit and it disappears. It's not really possible on the blockchain. It doesn't disappear to that extent. Even that recent hack, the $1.4 billion hack of Ether that was sitting on an exchange, when those people tried to convert it to Bitcoin, the community was watching, and that Bitcoin has now been tagged, and I'm sure the North Koreans or whoever is holding that is not going to be able to redeem it for real world stuff because it's tagged. People know where it came from. But fascinating that that could even be looked at by the public. If that was a traditional heist, the money would just disappear. And so again, of course, the Democrats didn't want to see Bitcoin take off because it gives the power of money back to the people. And here they had a great system going from their perspective, great system for them, where we're all paying taxes. A portion of our hard-earned income goes to these people, and they redirect it to themselves through, again, just the most vacuous veil of nonprofithood. And yet they're making the money. They're getting the payments. They're getting the advisor fees. Absolutely outrageous. People do need to go to prison over this. The thing about financial crime is you have the evidence. It's not like, traditional crime. If you shoot somebody in the South American jungle and there's nobody around for 100 miles and there are no cameras to record it and you bury them, it's probably hard to prosecute you. Whereas with financial crime, the data's right there. There's a printout somewhere at a bank that has all this information, So fascinating times, absolutely. And again, this is Trump's first home run, in my opinion, of his second term, where instead of disappointing us and not coming through, he so came through. And again, check our website later tonight because we'll link to his executive order that's been posted on the White House's website and give some of our own commentary. Incredible. Have a great weekend, everybody.